What's up, y'all? It is the first full weekend of August. It is Sunday around 11:30, and I think it's August the 6th. And I'm doing a real off-trail adventure today. I am back in the Steels Creek area, just east of Linville Gorge. I had a hike there late May, a couple months, 3 months ago, and I was exploring a bunch of waterfalls that I picked out from the new Kevin Adams waterfall book. And the only ones I didn't get to were the waterfalls on Buck Creek, which is a smaller creek, lower flow. So I wanted to save it for a day when I knew the water would be up. And even though it's been a drought all summer, it's been really rainy in the southeast this past week, and I've been monitoring the USGS water gauges for the rivers around this area, and all of the water spiked above average flow. So I'm pretty sure that the water is going to be running pretty well on Buck Creek. But I'm not too worried about it being too high just because it's a small creek. So my plan is, currently, I am hiking the Easy Mountains to Sea Trail. This junction is right past the Table Rock Picnic Area Road. And it's a 3-mile downhill on this forest road grade where the MST meets Steels Creek, and from there it crosses Buck Creek, and once it crosses Buck Creek, getting off the trail, and I have to hike all the way up Buck Creek back to the road. So I think it's going to be around 2.5 miles of creek walking plus bushwhacking on the sides where it's impassable. And there's 4 waterfalls on Buck Creek. 3 of them are near the lower end, and then 1 is on the upper end, separated by over a mile from the lower waterfalls. But instead of getting out of the creek, which will be a hassle, it's probably easier to just connect those waterfalls, staying in the creek, avoiding the rhododendron. So it's going to be a pretty hardy bushwhack today, and I'm looking forward to these waterfalls. It shouldn't take too long, so I might do some more stuff today, but next thing you'll see is probably me getting in the creek. I'm trying a new item today. It's not exactly new. I've actually had this for years. This is the first time I've worn it. This is a Sea to Summit head net treated with insect shield, which means that permethrin, an insecticide, is interwoven in the fabric and lasts for years or 70 washings. All of my clothing that I wear is also treated with insect shield, which is easily the best way to have some sort of repellent deterrent while you're hiking without actually applying it. I bought this. This is a great item, actually. I'm enjoying wearing it, even though I look ridiculous. I bought this years ago because some of my hikes out west in Washington and Idaho, once you get towards those summits and the wind dies down, surprisingly, those alpine summits are just swarming with black flies and all kinds of stuff. Far worse than North Carolina, so I bought it for that. But haven't used it since I've been back, because I've been blessed with better weather when I go out west. And in North Carolina, we do have mosquitoes and all kinds of stuff, but honestly I find them much worse as you get closer to the coast. And when you're in the mountains, as long as you're moving, they don't really bother you. But I ran into a couple big spider webs, and I figured, oh, let me try this. I'll still run into those spider webs, but I won't feel it on my face. So that's been pretty nice. And every time I stop, I see the flies hovering around my head. So, it's not cumbersome. It's very light. you definitely want to wear this with a hat so it keeps it off of your face. But I'm gonna, maybe wear this the rest of the hike, pull it up when I need to take pictures of myself. It's one of these items that I probably wouldn't wear on a trail when I know I'm gonna see people, because I don't have the courage, because I think it looks pretty ridiculous out here. But today I'm gonna see how it goes. The one drawback is once you're sweating, if you wipe it with the head net, these holes are so small that the water kind of gets stuck there, and it kind of creates a foggy film. So I do wish it was easier to wipe my face from sweat, but otherwise it's nice. I chose Buck Creek today just because one, it's cloudy. Waterfalls always look better when they're cloudy, and two, it's been raining all week and the water level is much higher than normal, and this is a low flow creek and the waterfalls aren't very big, so I think they're going to look really good today. But the good thing is that the rain dissipated the past couple days, so it's not going to be like brownish. So I think that'd be even better to my advantage. The forecast is really bad today. My original plan was to go to Virginia where it's supposed to be sunny, but even then the hikes I was looking at were 2,000 to 4,000 feet, and that is not high enough in elevation to really get out of this muggy heat. So I decided to come check out Waterfalls when it's optimal viewing. And even though the forecast said it was 60 to 90% rain and thunderstorms all day, it's actually not that cloudy. It is humid, so it might rain later this afternoon, but so far the weather's really holding up well. It's going to be a very sweaty, humid day. I'm going to get very dirty, but it should be fun. I'm down at Buck Creek, and just downstream it flows into Steele's Creek. Even though all that rain came this week and the water levels were up on the rivers, this doesn't look that high. Maybe it's higher than normal, but it's small and it's kind of cluttered. And this is the biggest point of dread and trepidation that I have, and probably most people have on these type of hikes, is when the first time you actually need to leave the trail. And I think I'll probably feel like that for the first few hundred feet, because you always think it's going to be harder and scarier than it actually is. I think I've done far tougher, more dangerous waterfall hikes recently than this, at least from the book description. But it is a long 2.5 mile trek up this water. Hopefully it's not too hard. So I'm about to begin the adventure. The first waterfall, I forgot the name, I have them all listed on my phone. It is only 2,500 feet, less than a half a mile up the creek. So hopefully I'll be there in 15 minutes or so. After all that clutter and deadfall near the trail crossing, the creek widens and opens up and is much shallower, a lot easier to to go through, which is a good thing for me. I just had a huge delay. I just stood right down there for 25-30 minutes. It was a tropical downpour. Fortunately, I have dry bags, pack cover, and this gadget I've never gotten to use yet, this really light hiker's umbrella, and I just stood under this for the entire time, 30 minutes. It was, you could barely see. It was like being in a hurricane without the wind. It was a downpour. So everything's really wet, and I still haven't made it to the first waterfall yet. It's 1:35. Hopefully I can go a little bit faster now, and hopefully it doesn't pour. 'Cause it's been slow going. I'm at the base of Orange Rock Falls. Unfortunately, it seems like it's starting to rain again. This is a multi-tiered, about 35, 40 foot drop. I can't really see the top. It's kind of difficult to get a full view of this because I have no idea how deep this pool is. I know back there it was very muddy, like all the sediment over the years is collected, and I would sink a foot or so in mud below the surface. Pretty gross. So this is probably a little deep right here. But it's a pretty nice waterfall. I'm glad the water is definitely much higher than I've seen in the pictures, but since it's raining, I'm gonna have to pack my gear up again. This is Buck Creek Falls, named after the creek. I think there's more of it up to the right. This is a little more intimate than Orange Rock Falls, and it has this cool overhang, but it's hard to get a good scope of it because I'm so close. You know, I'm right beside the waterfall, and I have to stand in this deep pool. And I gotta tell you, I think I just made one of the worst bushwhacking choices I've ever made. I went left up around Orange Rock Falls, and it was a hell of vines, seemingly grapevines, lots of baby rhododendron, and a ton of deadfall. I think it took me 45 minutes to go around that waterfall. It's almost 3 o'clock. It's ridiculous how long it's taken me. I might have to bail after the next waterfall just above. We'll see. There's no way I can climb around this on the left side. I think I can probably scoot up the actual right side of this waterfall. If I have to go back in that crap again, it's gonna take me forever to finish this. And I've only gone less than halfway on this creek. But this is a really nice spot. I climbed directly up the waterfall. There's some tough terrain in here. I'm not sure if this is Mossy Chute Falls or not. My GPS says I'm barely past the top of Buck Creek Falls. This could be the start of the waterfall. I forgot the description. Otherwise, this is just a waterfall that has no name just below it, and I'll be there next. Fortunately, this looks easy to climb up. Third named waterfall. This is Mossy Chute Falls. Probably the least scenic of the 4 waterfalls I've seen so far. Maybe there's something better up at the top. I guess the easiest way to get above this is to climb up the left side. Man, this has been a tough day. This is a pretty awesome little waterfall here. It looks much more chute-like than Mossy Chute Falls, but my GPS says that I am a few hundred feet above Mossy Chute, so maybe this has no name, but this is very cool. But it looks like it's gonna be a little tougher to climb around. Last waterfall, Mossy Ledge Falls. There's really no room to get an angle from farther back. There's also this part of the drop too. I'm tired of this. It's like 5:45, almost 6. It's been a pretty rough going up this creek as it gets smaller. As you can see this way, it's all just socked in, and I have no idea how I'm going to climb out of here. There's big rocks on that side. I'm going to have to figure my way up out here, I guess. Oh well, I'm ready to get out of here. Finally made it back. It's 6:20, so it means I've been hiking 6 hours and 45 minutes. I probably did over 5.5 hours in the creek, and I am just pruned up. My feet really hurt. They're probably super pruny. It was only 8.3 miles, but that was a really hard, very mentally challenging day, especially after I got through the first 5 waterfalls and the creek got a lot smaller, narrower. God, I can't say that. I'm really tired. But when it got boxed in, there's just so much rhododendron and deadfall over the tiny creek. It was just really taxing mentally and physically. So I'm pretty waterfalled out for the next few weeks. I'm probably going to stick to some high mountains, regular trails, because that was rough. And the entire day I didn't eat anything. I think I was in kind of survival mode, do not get hurt. You know, every time I was climbing up those waterfalls, I just wasn't thinking about food. I barely even drank anything. So I'm ready to go get some food. Probably gonna be really hungry in about 30 minutes, but I feel gross just looking at everything. All the shoe goo is coming off my shoes already. My bag looks just rough. Everything is soaked. So yeah, if you were reading Kevin Adams' book and were interested in Buck Creek, just to let you know, that is one of the toughest water hikes I've ever done. So I really only recommend it for very experienced people. Otherwise, stay away from it, because you can get boxed in there and get in really dangerous situations. Kind of wish I did it with a buddy, but you know, hardly anyone's in town these days during the summer. So next time I'll probably be high on a mountain somewhere, avoiding walking in a creek for 5 hours. So stay tuned until next time. Later.